In my last video, the introduction to this transpiration septic system or fossa, we just showed a picture of what it was like when it was complete. And here's another picture of that, just as a review. This is, well, it was taken a couple of weeks ago, so early part of 2021. And you can see where the banana trees are. They're actually growing out of the top of the fossa, or the septic system. In this video, I'm going to attempt to describe the construction based on the pictures that we took at the time. Don't have any video for that. Here you can see it's a 2 meter by 3 meter hole in the ground, 1 meter deep. And the beginning of the construction of the chamber, which is done with block. Now these block are typical to what we have here. They have 6 holes in them, and these are laid on their side, and they're on top of each other but staggered. In other words, kind of brought in about halfway so that they form kind of a pyramid. Not only are they laid staggered, but they're also at a slight angle, facing down, so that the solid debris doesn't have a clear path to the outside. So hopefully you guys can picture that. And then you see the pipe coming in, which will be connected to the top later. Also wanted to mention here that the walls of the tank are actually ferrocement or chicken wire secured to the sides of the hole, and then covered with a layer of mortar. And it's about 1 inch thick all the way around, kind of a paper mache style. Here we have the beginnings of the top of the chamber. The blocks were supposed to meet at the top and be covered with one single block down the center, pyramid style. However, our block we started were a little bit too far apart, so we're having to make this top to span side to side. And this is just the framework of that top. We use the blocks in the middle to create the curve. And this is done with just simple wire and chicken wire. You got kind of small rebar and chicken wire. In this picture, we put the cardboard underneath to support the cement as it dries. And at this point, we'll take this frame to the location and put it on before we put the mortar on. The supervisor has given her approval to the framework, so we can now relocate. So in this picture, we've got the top in place, and the moss is applied. You can see the pipe, the white pipe where it goes through. And at the top of the picture, you can see a small brown pipe coming out of the top, 20 millimeters. That's for an air vent, just in the beginning. We later put an air vent in the white pipe, so I'm not sure that brown pipe is necessary. You can also see the first layer of the filter, which is just construction debris, broken blocks, tiles, leftover cement, and whatnot. That's kind of a gross aggregate that we're put in there, and then on top of that will be a layer of palm leaves acting as a barrier to hold the smaller stuff above it. This picture shows the second layer of the filter, or the more sturdy organic material we're using as a screen to separate the finer sand soil from the gross construction debris beneath. The one that we made in town or in the city for this, we actually used like a silt fence material instead of this. So maybe I'm not sure what the longevity of this type stuff is before that finer stuff gets down there and clogs everything up. Not even sure it'll be an issue. So far she's been working 6 years with no issue, but in the city where things are a little bit more constrained space-wise, we did elect to use, like I said, a silt fence and then actual Brita or gravel, if you will. So we used gross material and then gravel, and then on top of that a silt fence, and then on top of the silt fence is where the sand dirt mixture was. And here we finished up the palm leaves and are starting to add the dirt, which is what we'll plant the banana trees in and the other plants. These licorice leaves, or palm leaves, some recommend using rice shavings or other types of something, durable organic matter. My guess is that if these aren't exposed to sunlight, even though they're getting wet, they'll probably stick around for a long time. It takes a long time for these to decay if they're not out in the sun. Just more backfilling. This is my friend Kareka and myself. Kareka is he's a native. He grew up here on this land. His father and his family worked for the previous owner on the cattle farm. He's seen a lot of projects that we've done. In the beginning, I guess he thought we were crazy. Now he's certain that we've lost our mind, but at least he's got to see this continue to work. So maybe that's a good thing. When this video started, don't know if you guys noticed, but it was basically a barren desert. And evidently it rained, because now everything's coming to life and is nice, pretty, and green. So now she's all covered up and ready to go. We allowed a few weeks of using it so that it would fill up with water so we could plant. And then unfortunately it was raining also at the time, so that helped us. Wanted to have a substantial amount of water in there before we planted banana trees because they do take up so much water. And the one thing, another thing I wanted to mention was the white pipe. We eventually had to put a vent into that pipe because as the water reached the top, it closed it off, and then the toilet wouldn't flush at that point, wouldn't let the water down. So we did have to put an air vent in that, which, like I said, that's plumbing 101. That should have been there from the start. But hopefully this made some sense and showed some things. If you got any questions, please leave them down below. And we'll see you next time.